almost felt like I was about to blow out the candle. I was going to say, oops, but it didn't blow out. I just heard because you laid the foundation with the divine, then there's a question mark. So let's unveil the question mark. First of all, it is very important to wake up in peace. So strive to do that every day. Wake up on a good foot. Okay. Get on a good foot. Wake up being grateful. Show gratitude for everything that you have. Show gratitude for the lessons that you have received. Like, give thanks. Which I feel like many of you do, but just in case. It's a reminder. Just in case you may have forgotten. When you strive to wake up in peace, that feeling can really be present throughout the entire day. It's like literally setting the tone for the day. And you make the choice not to allow anyone's negative energy, low frequency energy, to throw you off balance. And when you start your day like that, you remind yourself, right, that it's okay. Like, and you also remind yourself that many times when people energetically send attacks your way, it's because they're not happy within their own lives. So their way of filtering all of that stagnant energy inside of them that they're not, or that they're having trouble dealing with, or that they're just not dealing with, just know that ill will that you feel thrown at you from them is really them trying to share their pain with you. That's what it really is. When you remind yourself of that, you look at people differently. And I'm not saying it's easy to do this. I mean, it could be, depending on how you look at it. But if you set the tone, when you open your eyes in the morning, you set that tone, you're going to have a good day. Regardless of if things go wrong, it's okay. That happens. Things go wrong sometime, or they may be perceived to have gone wrong, but they went all the way right. It's just that sometimes we don't feel that way just because we had a plan for something to happen the way we wanted it to. But our plan is not always God's plan. I heard thank you for listening to Spirit's Whisper. I didn't intend on doing that, but I think that's what that was. Spirit whispered to me and told me to say that to you, because I didn't have any intentions on doing that. I'm going to share something with you. When I used to drink alcoholic beverages, right? I noticed with myself that the mood that I set in the beginning of the session, I don't know why I want to call it a session, but the mood that I was in, I had to be mindful of it, because I noticed, like, if I wanted to be, how can I explain what I'm saying? Whatever mood I was in, after you drink and you feel that feeling, it enhances. The feeling enhances. So if you're mad already and you already feel some type of way, that's going to come out extra heavy and strong through your mindset and your actions while under the influence. So if you're super sad already, you're gonna be like extremely sad. Well, at least that's how it was for me. And it could be that way for you too. Let's look that up real quick. Does drinking alcohol enhance hey, where are my stuffs? Don't know. Does drinking alcohol enhance? Oh, there's my other glasses here. I just want to know, like, does it enhance the current state of energy that you're in? You know, I assume yes, but I'm just curious as to what is online, like what it says. And think about it for yourself. When you drink alcohol, does it are your feelings that you have before you drink, are they increased? Did you ever even think about that before? Like, you know, let's see, what is it? This is Mental Health Foundation, okay, .org. Well, that's bright, isn't it? It says alcohol and mental health. Let me see. It says alcohol and mental health are closely linked. Drinking too much can affect your well-being. Okay, so some people may drink to try to relieve the symptoms of mental ill health. People drink for many reasons: to celebrate, socialize, commiserate, or drown our sorrows. We may drink to try and change our mood, to feel more relaxed, courageous, or confident. However, the effect of alcohol is only temporary. As it wears off, we often feel worse because of how alcohol withdrawal affects our brain and body. You may feel like alcohol is your coping mechanism, a way to deal with depression, stress, anxiety, or other difficult feelings. You might be nervous about what life would be like if you stopped drinking or cut back. But relying on alcohol to manage your mental well-being can become a problem in itself. There's no shame in asking for help and exploring what a new relationship with alcohol could look like. How alcohol affects the brain. Alcohol is a depressant, which can disrupt the balance of neurotransmitters, chemical messengers, in your brain and affect your feelings, thoughts, and behavior. So, what else? Alcohol affects the part of your brain that controls inhibition. I feel like my glasses are crooked. So you may feel relaxed, less anxious, and more confident after a drink, but these effects quickly wear off. The chemical changes in your brain can soon lead to more negative feelings such as anger, depression, or anxiety, regardless of mood. Alcohol also slows down how your brain processes information, making it harder to work out what you're really feeling and the possible consequences of your actions. In the long term, alcohol uses up and reduces the number of neurotransmitters in our brains. Wow. But we need a certain level to ward off anxiety and depression. This can make you want to drink more to relieve these difficult feelings, which can start a cycle of dependence. So it's like when one drinks, the neurotransmitters are reduced, which are what is needed for us to think clearly and make sound decisions. And instead of choosing to stop drinking, many choose to continue to drink in hopes to feel more relief, when it is actually an adverse effect that takes place. How alcohol affects your body. In short term, drinking too much can lead to alcohol poisoning, sleep problems, an upset stomach, bloating, and migraines. It may make you behave recklessly or aggressively, have an accident, or become the victim of violence. Drinking a lot for many years will take its toll on your body. Long-term alcohol misuse increase your risks of serious health conditions, including heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, liver disease, and cancer. It can lead to social problems such as relationship breakups, unemployment, financial difficulties, and homelessness. Now, if you could just think about why that is, because it's saying that drinking can take a toll basically on your life, and according to the social problems that I just mentioned, relationship breakups, unemployment, financial difficulties, and homelessness, just think about how that can come about. Drinking a lot can cause those problems. Think about how. Think about what is in between the events in between drinking and then reaching the point of distress from a social standpoint, which is the relationship breakups, unemployment, financial difficulties, and homelessness. The first thing I think about is as soon as people have or get their check or have money or whatever, they'll go get alcohol. And then those who are considered to be alcoholics, they'll spend it all if you let them. If they don't have anybody to help them, wait a minute now, they'll prioritize the alcohol over their responsibilities. That's the first thing that comes to me or comes to mind. And then the relationship breakups is the emotional imbalance will cause a problem in a relationship, because there's always going to be some issues, because someone who is under the influence all the time is not going to be able to think straight, because their neurotransmitters are dissolving. They're reducing to the point where their ability to think is literally diminished over time from drinking. Unemployment can happen from not having that energy to be able to get up and go and do what you have to do, which then leads to financial difficulties, which then leads to homelessness, because you need some type of income to be able to sustain yourself, and it's just a trickle effect of problems because of the choice to choose alcohol over everything else, all else. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave it there with that part. It was just something that came to me, so I wanted to talk about that. Okay, so if you are somebody that drinks a lot, consider taking another route, just because based off of everything I just said to you. Think about how it could affect you when you could have the greatest life ever. Why would you choose to harm your future in such a way to where you don't feel at your best? Don't let the feeling trick you into believing that it's making you better, because that's not true. That's when you can't trust your feelings, when they're induced or infused with alcohol or a substance that's foreign, because then you make a decision based off of a falsehood It's a false feeling. It's not even really completely yours because it's influenced by a spirit. And when you're not dealing with spirit sober, you don't know who's jumping inside of you. It could be the worst person that ever walked this earth. And then you end up doing stuff crazy that you didn't even know you was capable of because it's not you. That's why they, if you notice on the stores that hold these beverages, these alcoholic beverages, they say, some of them say wine and spirits. Hello? Just in case nobody paid attention to that part. You open yourself up. You know, you don't, when you're under the influence, you don't have that spiritual protection because you opened yourself up, and you don't have the ability to close yourself off because your neurotransmitters have shrunk into the point of disappearance. Your thoughts did a phantom, so you can't even control them to be able to use discernment and caution and wisdom because they've been drunken away. All right. Now I can go into the main topic that Spirit gave me, which is you chose to lay the foundation of your life with God. For those who have chosen to do so, you really enhance your ability to have a life full of joy. You just enhance all of that. It's an enhancement, and it's a sure thing. I'm hearing it's a sure thing. I heard this love is a sure thing. God's love is a sure thing. That's something you could be sure about. You know, if you can't be sure about anything else, you could surely be sure about God's love. That's something that is not going anywhere. That is it. Like, that is it. Once you have that, everything else falls into place. So what is better? What is better than having God's love and divine alignment as your foundation? When you have that, you have it all. You have everything. Even if physically you have nothing, you have everything when you have God's love, because you will notice that everything else is frivolous. Everything else is frivolous. The sustenance that you get from connecting to God, not just through words, but I'm talking about spiritually connecting, taking time out on a regular basis to connect to your spirit family and connect to the Creator. There's nothing better, because things that other people work so hard to obtain, you know that is it's almost like wasteful, even though, you know, we do need money. Yes, of course. But money is only important if it's going to actually make a difference in some way. Of course, we need it to live. That's regular bare minimum, like paying bills, okay? But for those who are like, I want to be the wealthiest person in the whole wide world, and they put in all this work, if it doesn't have like a bigger purpose connected to it that's way bigger than them, then that means that they're just gonna step on so many people to make all this money and then hoard it. And it's all about control. When you get that money, and when you have when you have an understanding of what money is for, like the truth about it, and it's really about legacy and making sure the remnants of you is left behind when it's time for you to go back into the folds of the universe, like your soul, your spirit. That's what it's about, because if you don't leave anything here, you're not going to be remembered anyway. then your whole life is going to be like, what? What was your life? You know, what was your life? Even if, leave something behind, even if it's a good word to a person. Leave something. If you're not in a space where you get to that point to, I don't know, make all this money, whatever. But I do feel like everyone should strive to leave a legacy. But that's just my opinion, you know. But it's also shows that you blazed the path. You used your life for purpose, like, you know. And when you align yourself with what God has for you, you can't help but to be happy because this is what the Creator's energy will give you: joy and happiness and this overwhelming feeling of love. It is overwhelming in a good way, not in a bad way. It's the most beautiful way ever. And many of you feel it. Many of you are here in this place. And I think this is why Spirit wants me to talk about it, because you have this already. And it's so beautifully ingrained, I want to say ingrained within you, that it can't be taken away. No matter, you know, when something is sturdy within you, when something is sturdy, no matter what anyone has to say or how anyone feels about you and your beliefs, and you stand strong in them, it doesn't matter what anybody says. People could challenge you. People could say whatever. People could try their best to make you look crazy. But it doesn't matter because you already know what it is. When you make sure that you use that source energy as a foundation, you are so strong. You know, that's what God does. God makes us strong and gives us this resilience and helps us to tap into the strength of our ancestors and our spirit family that comes and checks in on us on a regular basis to see how we're doing, to then try to drop jewels on us mentally, physically, leaving little messages everywhere for us to decipher, decode, and pay attention to. It's like the most beautiful hunt. It makes me think about a hunt for treasure. It's just that when Spirit leaves messages, we never know when we're going to see them. We don't know. We just kind of just go. And if we walk every day thinking about our spiritual self along with our physical self, you'll begin to pay more attention to your spiritual self. And this is what I really want you guys to do. Pay more attention. Not, you know, it's more so like an alignment of understanding that you are a spirit being and a physical being right now. So many people are detached from their spirit that they're not really living. You must be connected to spirit to be able to truly live. And I just say that because the spiritual aspect of us is the most raw and authentic version of us. You know, the physical body, the vessel, is what gets scrutinized. It's what people see first. So people tend to try to attack what they see and try to do all types of things, say all types of things. Whatever they could say to try to throw you off. It's like they're little bots. That's their job. That bot life is aimless. You know, it's like search and destroy. That's the bot life. So they just be behind a computer screen looking for people to talk about. And a lot of times they like to use the words that you speak and flip them and twist them to try to attack you with your own words. And it's like, back. But It's up to you to, it's like, disregard it. You can address it if you feel like it's necessary, but most of the time it's unnecessary. They just want your attention. They don't have no life. They don't have nothing to do. They're keyboard warriors. That's it. Without a message. A warrior with no weapons, no plan, no strategy. It's just, so that's not of much importance. That is something that is light work. So it's like, that's not what I'm here for. When you know what you're here for, the little things are going to be like, what? No, I have things to do. When you have things to do, you don't have time to look at things like that, because your time is focused on that divine alignment that you came here for, that you came here to experience, full of so much abundance and beauty. Why would you look at anything else? Why would you pay attention to anything else? It doesn't make sense to, because you know that divine alignment gives you everything that you need. Divine alignment comes with all the blessings that you could want, but you don't really know until you walk that path, and then you realize that everything you need is on the path of divine alignment. And being that you chose to establish divine alignment as your foundation in your life, you have won. You've won the game, because you're choosing to treat people with kindness and love. You're choosing to be a sound, almost at a soundboard, but it's like a good listener, and also a good communicator, or at least you strive to be. You think you're very mindful with how you move and how you interpret things, just everything. And as long as it's in alignment with life and fruitfulness and understanding, that's what you choose, because you feel it. You feel that it's right, and you know it's right, because it makes you feel good. You don't feel paranoid. You don't feel like somebody's coming for you. You don't feel on edge and angry. You're choosing to bask in the beauty of the divine. And that's a beautiful life to live. When one chooses to indulge in activities that lead to death, that's going to be a life of misery. Because usually anything that leads to death is there's high levels of anxiety there in that space. That's not a peaceful life. When you want to live a peaceful life, you choose the Creator's energy. And I feel like because you have, your life is now filled with peace. Maybe you didn't look at it like this before, but now that you know, does it help you, just in case you didn't look at it like this, does it help you to see how beneficial it is to live within divine alignment? Because that means that you're living outside of societal norms. So you're breaking barriers, you're breaking constructs. The obstacles are in front of you and you're busting through them. There is no obstacle with that mindset. There is nothing in your way, because you start levitating. So there's nothing in your way. So that's it for this message. You have done a good thing. So keep on doing it, so you can live a life of peace, joy, and love, love and happiness. Okay? Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next message.